so long, organized team activities and mandatory minicamps. Hello, NFL off-season. Players across the league broke for the summer on Thursday and will be away from their teams until training camps start in late July. The biggest story from camps was about who wasn't there. Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, Aaron Donald, Le'Veon Bell and more stars opted to be away from their teams for most of the summer. For now, though, let's focus on who was there. We asked our NFL Nation reporters to pick an under-the-radar player, someone who opened eyes during workouts this off-season, to remember for every team. NFC East, NFC North, NFC South, NFC West, AFC East, AFC North, AFC South, AFC West, NFC East. Dallas Cowboys defensive tackle Jihad Ward. The Cowboys acquired Ward during the draft from the Raiders for wide receiver Ryan Switzer, a former second-round pick. Ward was a major disappointment for 2 seasons in Oakland, picking up 1 sack in 21 career games. The Cowboys were high on Ward coming into the 2016 draft because they coached him at the Senior Bowl. Defensive coordinator Rod Marinelli saw something in Ward that made him think he could be a valuable part of a rotation. It is difficult to judge line play in otas because players are not in pads, but Ward has shown the movement Marinelli likes, along with the right attitude. Malik Collins recovering from foot surgery and David Irving not practicing. Ward got a lot of work with the first team in the spring and has a chance to be a contributor during the season if he shows the same performance in training camp. Todd Archer. New York Giants center John Halapio. It's a name that most non-Giants diehards would not even recognize. When Halapio was resigned as an exclusive rights free agent this off-season, it was expected he would be a backup lineman. Instead, he has emerged as the first-team center with an extremely strong spring. Halapio finished last season well and it has carried over into summer workouts. His size, work ethic and physicality have caught the Giants' attention. Jordan Run and the Rams and Eagles were among the most active, and a handful of clubs have new QBs. Check your team's grade here. Odell Beckham Jr. wants a huge contract. The Giants have cap concerns, plus a new GM with little patience for egos. So, now what? The NFL's reigning No. 1 defense in Minnesota is even more formidable. The Eagles have questions and the Rams appear poised to make a big leap. Philadelphia Eagles cornerback Davante Bowlesby, the former undrafted free agent out of Pittsburgh State, has unexpectedly emerged as a candidate for the slot corner role vacated by Patrick Robinson, who signed with the Saints this offseason. Bowlesby has the physical traits. He's 6'2", 190 pounds and ran a wind-aided 4.22-second 40-yard dash at his pro day, but has played for 3 teams in as many years, appearing in just 4 games. The move from outside to nickel corner appears to be suiting Bowlesby well, however, as he has made some plays and opened some eyes while working with the first unit this spring. Tim McManus. Washington Redskins wide receiver Trey Quinn. The current Mr. Irrelevant looks like he could one day be, well, relevant. Quinn has shown quickness out of his breaks and strong hands. He is best as a slot receiver, but the Redskins have Jamison Crowder in front of him. They're hoping Quinn can learn other spots, too, but he's best inside. He's a quiet assassin, and he just goes out there and is very detailed in his routes, Redskins coach Jay Gruden said. Very quarterback-friendly target. John Keim. NFC North. Chicago Bears wide receiver Kevin White. The 7th overall pick of the 2015 draft, White has played in only 5 career regular season games because of an assortment of injuries, and the Bears earlier this offseason declined the 5th-year option on his contract. But White stayed healthy throughout Chicago's off-season program, where he looked better than expected running routes in Coach Matt Nogg's West Coast offense. White still has to prove he can stay on the field for an entire season, but the Bears appear willing to give him one more chance. Jeff Dickerson. Detroit Lions wide receiver Theo Redding. The undrafted rookie free agent from Bowling Green is no lock to make the roster, but he consistently has come up with big catches during minicamp practices and showed some flashes on special teams as well. While the Lions are set at the top of the receive rotation, an undrafted free agent or 2 usually have a shot at a roster spot. There's a lot that can happen between now and September. But if Detroit keeps 5 receivers, Redding is putting himself in position to have a real chance to compete for a place on the roster. Michael Rothstein, Green Bay Packers running back Ty Montgomery. Just when you thought Montgomery might be phased out of the Packers' offensive plans after the emergence last season of Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones, it looks like the converted receiver will get one more shot at a significant role in the offense. He has been a mainstay on the field in certain key packages, including the no-huddle and 2-minute drills, during off-season practices. Coach Mike McCarthy admitted this off-season that he'll probably favor a running back by committee approach, at least until one back proves himself to be head and shoulders above the others, and at this point there's a decent chance Montgomery could still head that committee. Rob Demovsky, Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Laquan Treadwell, after a disappointing start to his NFL career in which he totaled 20 catches for 200 yards in 2 seasons. Things appear to be looking up for the Vikings' 2016 first-rounder. Treadwell spent spring workouts running with the first-team offense, a welcome sign for many who are hoping the 6'2" receiver can finally turn the corner in his 3rd season. It's still too early to predict whether Treadwell will win the No. 3 receiver job, but the strides he has made this offseason on the field and personally, he has admitted to working smarter, are an important sign of growth. Courtney Cronin, NFC South Atlanta Falcons tight end Derek Sobert, the 2017 5th-round pick, has done a nice job catching the ball so far this offseason. Granted, he's not going up against the first-team defense, but Sobert will earn notice from the coaches if he continues to catch the ball along with carving a niche on special teams. Sobert played only 31 offensive snaps last season, with 10 coming in Week 17. Vaughn McClure, Carolina Panthers safety Denoris Searcy was available after losing his starting job in Tennessee last season, and he flew under the radar among Carolina's off-season signings. But Searcy is slimmer and more fluid after a diet that, in his words, includes fewer Coronas. He has emerged as the front-runner to start opposite strong safety Mike Adams at a position the Panthers didn't address in the draft after releasing Kurt Coleman. I watch him and Mike together, and I'll tell you what, it's like 2 old heads who have been together for a while, Coach Ron Rivera said. David Newton, New Orleans Saints defensive lineman Mitchell Lowen. This is cheating a little bit, since the undrafted 3rd-year pro from Arkansas was actually one of the Saints' sneaky surprises last summer, earning a spot on the 53-man roster before he went on injured reserve with an ankle injury suffered in Week 2. But once again, Lowen shouldn't be overlooked. Even though the team isn't practicing in pads yet, he has flashed a few times during OTAs and minicamp with would-be sacks and tackles for loss, and the 6'5", 275-pounder has the versatility to play both tackle and end, which is one of the things the Saints liked about him a year ago. Mike Triplett, Tampa Bay Buccaneers linebacker Adarius Taylor. Kendall Beckwith is recovering from ankle surgery after a car accident this off-season, and Taylor, formerly Galanton, he changed his name in April, has stepped in not just at Beckwith's strong side linebacker position, but all 3 linebacker spots. What's amazing about it is that Taylor suffered a fractured tibia and fibula in his left leg in December of last year. When you go back and look at the injury Adarius had, it's somewhat of a medical miracle that he's out here practicing full speed. Coach Dirk Cotter said, I'd say Adarius has really stepped up so far and is doing everything he can to help. On the first day of minicamp, Taylor forced a Cameron Brate fumble during red zone drills. Jenna Lane, NFC West Arizona Cardinals defensive end Benson Mayowa was signed as a free agent in April to be an insurance policy for the injured Marcus Golden, who's recovering from a torn ACL. All Mayowa has done is impressed through consistent play during OTAs and minicamp. He might find himself in a battle for playing time depending on how well Golden recovers from his injury. If Golden isn't ready for a full load by Week 1, Mayowa might be able to get playing time early in the season opposite Chandler Jones. Josh Weinfuss, Los Angeles Rams linebacker Corey Littleton, a former undrafted free agent in 2016, Littleton took the place this offseason of former team captain Alec Ogletree at inside linebacker. Littleton demonstrated to the staff in limited playing time in 2017 that he had the ability to be a playmaker. Coach Sean McVay said Littleton immediately stepped in during the off-season program and that he has done a great job communicating in a position that requires a leader. Lindsey Terry. San Francisco 49ers wide receiver Kendrick Bourne unfazed by the addition of drafted rookie receivers Dante Pettis and Richie James. Bourne has been one of the most consistent pass catchers for quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo in the offseason program. Bourne made the team as an undrafted free agent last year and finished with 16 catches for 257 yards. The knock on him has been that he doesn't have great speed, but he has looked a bit faster in the spring. Garoppolo recently called Bourne deceptively fast while noting that he also has some wiggle to him. Although Marquise Goodwin and Pierre Garçon aren't in danger of losing their starting spots, Bourne looks like a player who has a chance to not only win a roster spot again but potentially push for an expanded role in 2018. Nick Wagner. Seattle Seahawks running back Chris Carson. Even though Carson began last season as a starter, he should qualify as under the radar because of what has happened since then. A leg/ankle injury that ended his rookie season a month in, and the Seahawks spending their first-round pick on another running back, Rashad Penny. Carson has been the most impressive of any running back this summer, and general manager John Schneider has said that at times Carson looks like the best player on the field. After adding 10 pounds of muscle, Carson was the first name that coach Pete Carroll mentioned when asked which player impressed him the most in terms of the shape he was in when he reported back for off-season work. It'll make for an interesting battle for the starting job. Brady Henderson. AFC East. Buffalo Bills quarterback Nathan Peterman. The 2017 fifth-round pick was an afterthought at best and a laughingstock at worst after his 5-interception performance against the Chargers last season, but Peterman should be considered a serious contender for the starting job in Buffalo. He has rotated daily with A.J. McCarron to lead the first-team offense, with rookie Josh Allen starting in minicamp to see periodic time with that group. Peterman has looked sharp, including Tuesday at minicamp, when he completed 10 of 13 passes in 11-on-11 drills and ended practice with a touchdown. Mike Roddick. Miami Dolphins wide receiver Albert Wilson. The Dolphins signed Wilson to a 3-year, $24 million contract this offseason and believe he can be effective in a variety of alignments in the offense, according to the Miami Herald. Dolphins receivers coach Ben Johnson said during minicamp of Wilson, "It's been impressive to me to see him come in, pick up this system and learn these fundamentals that he wasn't really doing the same thing in Kansas City. He's really done a nice job the past 2 weeks." Mike Roddick. New England Patriots cornerback J.C. Jackson. The undrafted free agent from Maryland, who was wearing no. 65, Bill Belichick has yet to give permanent numbers to rookies, received significant repetitions opposite Stephon Gilmore with what would be considered the team's top defense. That's the spot previously occupied by Malcolm Butler, and Jackson seemed to account well for himself with multiple pass breakups. Veterans Eric Rowe and Jason McCourty are expected to compete for that job, along with first-year player Ryan Lewis, who spent last year on the practice squad and whose physical approach at the line of scrimmage is notable. As for Jackson, he was viewed by some draft analysts as a mid-round pick based on his talent, but significant off-field issues early in his college career might have contributed to him going undrafted. Mike Rice. New York Jets wide receiver Chad Hansen. After a nondescript rookie season in which he caught only 9 passes in 321 offensive snaps, Hansen is one of the most improved players on the team. He looks stronger and faster than last year. The former 4th-round pick from Cal isn't thinking as much, allowing him to be more fluid. With a good preseason, he will play his way into a prominent role. Rich Cimini. AFC North. Baltimore Ravens wide receiver Chris Moore. While most of the attention has been on the additions to the passing game, Moore is showing staying power by making some of the best catches in off-season practices. He still sits behind Michael Crabtree, John Brown and Willie Snead on the depth chart, but he has created a niche as a downfield threat and kickoff returner. A 4th-round pick in 2016, Moore believes he has improved his route running and his feel for coverages. Jamison Hensley. Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver John Ross. This shouldn't be a surprise, as Ross was a first-round pick just last year, but after a year of injuries, disappointments and a total of only 15 offensive snaps, it's a fair question to wonder if Ross will live up to the hype of being the No. 9 overall pick. Ross is now healthy and able to fully participate in OTAs and minicamp, and he was able to show off a variety of routes at different lengths. He's got a long way to go, but it's a big first step. Catherine Terrell. Cleveland Browns cornerback Brian Body Calhoun. Body Calhoun is the last man standing for the Browns, the only corner not jettisoned from a winless team. Pro Football Focus raved about his play in 2017, and he is now working at safety as well as corner. The Browns added 4 corners in the offseason via trade or the draft, but Body Calhoun is doing all he can to earn a spot. Pat McManaman. Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker Tyler Matakevich. Throughout Otis, Matakevich assumed the starting inside linebacker job opposite Vince Williams. The free agent signing of John Bostic hasn't fazed Matakevich, who is holding him off in an attempt to replace Ryan Shazier. The former 7th-round pick doesn't have great speed, but he has the instincts for the position and plays with an edge. He has shown that this offseason. Jeremy Fowler. AFC South. Houston Texans wide receiver Keke Coutee. The rookie 4th-round pick might be the Texans' answer in the slot. It's early, but Coutee has stood out among the young receiving core, impressing DeAndre Hopkins with his improvement since the start of voters. The Texans have tried to start 2016 3rd-round pick Braxton Miller in the slot for 2 seasons, but Coutee could win the job during training camp. Sarah Barshop. Indianapolis Colts cornerback Kenny Moore. It seemed like it would be a foregone conclusion that Pierre Desir and Quincy Wilson had the inside track on the starting cornerback jobs. Moore, however, proved during off-season workouts and at minicamp that he deserves to be in the mix for a starting job. He went from being primarily a special teams player to starting 5 games as a rookie because of injury problems. He used that playing time to his advantage because the Colts like his physicality and his ability to play on the outside and in the slot. Moore has even been learning to play safety. Mike Wells. Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver Rashad Green. The Jaguars' 5th-round pick in 2015 made a splash as a punt returner as a rookie but played in only 8 games the past 2 seasons, none in 2017. Because of injuries he's the forgotten guy when everyone talks about the receivers and was going to have to be very impressive in the spring and at camp to have a shot at making the top 6. He has done the first part because he has been the most consistent and best receiver during OTAs and at mandatory minicamp. He has lined up outside and in the slot and has consistently gotten open. Mike DiRocco. Tennessee Titans cornerback LaShawn Sims is the quietest guy in the locker room, a role that has earned him the nickname Mouse, but he has played like a lion this offseason. He has routinely locked up receivers with his length and strength. The 2016 5th-round pick has a number of pass breakups and made an acrobatic interception in minicamp that was called back by penalty. The Titans upgraded their cornerback group by adding Malcolm Butler, which will likely push Sims to the number 4 CB role. But Sims' play so far this offseason backs up the Titans' claim that they can field one of the NFL's deepest and best secondaries. Cameron Wolfe. AFC West. Denver Broncos wide receiver Deshaun Hamilton. The Broncos have high expectations for the rookie 4th-round pick, who finished his career at Penn State as the school's all-time leader in receptions, especially because they saw his work up close at the Senior Bowl. And Hamilton just might have been the most proficient route runner on the draft. He showed that in the team's on-field work this summer. He was physical, strong to the ball, showed consistently reliable hands, and his routes were spot on. Hamilton is going to play plenty, or at least he should, in the season to come along with fellow rookie wide receiver Courtland Sutton. Jeff Legwold. Kansas City Chiefs offensive lineman Ryan Hunter. The Chiefs have given the undrafted rookie a look in their starting lineup at left guard during off-season practice. That the Chiefs are already seeing how much Hunter can handle speaks well for his chance of making the team and eventually contributing even more. Adam Tyker. Los Angeles Chargers wide receiver Artavis Scott. A teammate of 2017 1st-round pick Mike Williams at Clemson. Scott went undrafted last year and spent the entire season on the Bolts practice squad. Well, it looks like Scott was paying attention, because he made several splash plays during off-season work and has a chance to compete for a job as a returner this season. Scott finished his college career as Clemson's all-time reception leader with 245 catches for 2,480 receiving yards and 20 total touchdowns. Eric D. Williams. Oakland Raiders defensive tackle Morris Hurst-Shaw. Hurst was ranked by Pro Football Focus as the No. 3 overall prospect in the 2018 draft, but a heart condition that got him sent home from the combine scared off enough teams that the first-round talent fell to the Raiders in the 5th round. Hurst has been more than a pleasant surprise for Oakland in that he is running with the first-team defense in its 4-3 base at left defensive tackle. Last year's starter, Eddie Vander Does, is rehabbing from a torn ACL, and has starred in the off-season, beating Olprokaleci Osemele when he flipped sides. Not only opened the eyes of the coaches, but also got the attention of Osemele, who gave the rookie their business. Paul Gutierrez